Peace, Hotep, Uncle Jasanib, Assalamu alaikum. What it do, black people? Hopefully, you all have had a wonderful day. You're enjoying yourselves, and it's nearing the end, so I'm sure everyone's brain is about fried. But we got a little bit more to do today before we are done. So basically, what we're going to do today is going to be quick, and easy. So I want you all to take the rest of class time after this video is done to progress through your solo learn through your modules. Make sure you're going through the 1, 2, 3, and 4. I believe 1 and 2 we try to cover this week. 3 and 4 we try to do next week. And then after the break, we jump back into the hard stuff. So hopefully over the break, you'll be keeping your mind fresh on what's going on with Python. That will be best. Then we're going to talk about demonstrations a little bit. We're going to watch a quick video from a different guy who I have been learning from in regards to Python. Um, very basic stuff, very basic stuff, but we have to make sure we have the basics down. So we'll be watching just a quick little video on the print function, talking about concatenation and things like that. Very quick video. Take good notes because then the assignment that comes off this video you'll be able to get 100 on, and more than just getting 100, you will actually understand. So let's go ahead and move over to our video. It's gonna be right here, and let's see here. Oh, we're also going to be talking about the escape character, so keep that in mind as well. All right, I believe we are good to go. I told you about demonstrations. We're going to be talking about the escape. I'm reading my notes out loud, in my head out loud. Escape character concatenation. Okay. Yep. All right, here we go. We're getting ready to get started. Get your thinking coding caps on. A very old phrase I just used. And 3, 2, 1, here we go.
Hello everybody and welcome to the next part of my Python 3 Basics series. In the previous video I was showing you guys how to install, set up, and begin to use your Python installation. And in this video what we're going to be talking about is the print function. So the print function for the most part is kind of like it's mostly used just for debugging. At least the way I use it. Most of the time I'm using it for debugging purposes to kind of tell me where I am in the script, and then if you're maybe editing variables or making changes along the way, you can print out the changes that are made just so you know what's like happening under the hood. So it's definitely one of the most common operations and most common functions that you use within Python. And it's what's called a built-in function, so you don't actually have to import anything. So there are some functions that come with your quote-unquote vanilla installation of Python, but some of them need to be imported, like time or math and all this kind of stuff. But print is used so frequently that you actually never have to import the print function at all. In Python 2.7, the print function was a little bit different. It didn't operate like a function, or at least the syntax wasn't like a function. But in 3.3, it's a lot more like a function. So let's go ahead and get to it. So an example of a print function, or any function really, is you call the function name, and then in parentheses you put the function's parameters. Well, with print, what print does is just outputs to console whatever you put in there. And so you usually are going to print a string, but you don't have to print a string. But anyways, so let's just say this is an example of print function. Okay, so we can save that, and typically in my tutorials I do Control S to save and I hit F5 to run. You can also obviously go File, Save As, or Run and Run Module, or File Save really. But anyway, that's that. So when like stuff starts popping up when I say okay, I'm going to save and run it, and you didn't see my mouse do anything, that's why. Anyway, so I'm going to hit F5, it pops up, and you can see that it outputs. This is an example of print function. So pretty basic stuff, really. So now let's pop back here, and let's talk about a couple of things real quick, because this is not only going to be the print function, but also just some string rules and all that. So when you put something in between quotes, it's known as a string. I'm having a very hard time saying that. And you can either use single quotes or you can use double quotes. Now there are advantages and kind of disadvantages to each, but for the most part, you'll see me use single quotes. But if you use single quotes and you try to do something like this, and say, let's say we're going to the store, that doesn't work. And if you actually try to run this, you would see this invalid syntax. There are a couple ways around this. One, you could encase everything in double quotes. Then the singular quote within that double quote will be fine. So if we save it this way, we're going to the store, no problem. So the next thing that I'll show you, though, is if you really insisted on doing this, what if you did this? Even though this is a bad example because it's not really what we want, but like let's say instead you were saying, this is my OCD coming out. Anyway, hi. Oh my goodness. Anyway, save, run it, and if we pull this up, that worked, right? You saw how that worked. So it's like a different, so like some people kind of think like double quotes just are more powerful, so they can encase single quotes, but single quotes can encase double quotes. It really doesn't matter. But let's say you want to use single quotes, but then you also want to say, we are going to the store. How would you do that? Well, you use what's called an escape character, which is the backslash. Not to be confused with the forward slash, it's the backslash. So typically it's going to be right above your enter key or your return if you're using like a super old computer. so you can do that. And what it does is it's called an escape character because what it's going to do is it's going to escape any sort of functionality of that character and just leave it as, it's hard to say. I'd have to revisit the rules here, but at least in Python 2, I might be getting them confused, but you've got like in Python 2 you have in Python 2 you have what's known as Unicode, and you've got like 8-bit, whereas in Python 3 you've got text and just like data, right? And so like the rules are kind of different, but basically you're just escaping the functionality here of this. So when we run this, you won't see that nasty little backslash. So let's just go ahead and run it real quick. And you'll see that, yeah, okay, so we're going to the store, and we were able to get away with it with single quotes. So that's just a couple of quick things. So you can do that, but another thing that you can do is what's called concatenation. So what that's going to mean is we're going to put two strings together. So we'll say hi, space, there. So when you use the plus sign in concatenation, it's going to put them directly together. So if you did just hi non-space, you would see hi there, like jammed together. So you would add a space, and obviously that's going to fix it. Let me pull this up a little bit. The other way that you can concatenate things is with a comma. And when you do that with a comma, it's going to add a space. So we'll run it again, hi there. Now, the next thing that you can do is, like I said originally, is you don't have to have strings. You can have a number in there, or an integer. So we'll run that, and this time Python gave us a high five. So you can see that we're able to do that. But what if we had a plus there? Are we going to be able to do that, and is it going to take away our space? I don't know. Uh-oh. So we actually have a problem. It says that we can't convert an int object to a string object because what it's trying to do is it's taking the string and attempting, when you use the plus, to add it to the 5. So conversely, what if we did 5 plus hi? Run that, and now we can see unsupported operand for the integer because you can't add a string to an integer. So you'll see that, oops, I'm getting all over the place. You'll see that there are actually different errors that are reported, but it's pretty much for the same reason. You're trying to put two things together that just don't mesh. So there's a couple of things that you can do. Obviously, you can use the comma, or you can use another built-in function, which would be something like this. So if you want it to you still want to get your high five, you want to add that space, but you really want a plus 5 there, you can use what's called a string conversion here. And that's another thing that's built into Python. You won't actually have to import anything to do that. You can save it, you can run it, and here we have high five. By that same token, if this is, say, 8, and you try to do plus 5, it's still a string, right? A string 8. But you can convert that to, say, an int, save, run, and now you can see it actually printed out the mathematical operation of 8 plus 5. Now, what if we did this? 8.5 plus 5, and we run that. You can see that it gets angry at us because the int 8.5 is not an integer. So the other conversion, since I'm showing you guys conversions, would be float. Save that, run that, and that is okay. Everything is hunky-dory. Python is not angry. So that should cover just kind of like the basics of strings and concatenation and combining it with integers and floats and the conversions when you need to do the conversion and all that. So another time when you might need to use a conversion like this is if you're reading from a data file. Sometimes you might be reading that stuff in as a string format. Same thing if you read from like a website or something like that. A lot of times it's going to come in natively as a string, and you'll need to convert it out of a string to an int or a float if it's a number. So anyway, that should do for kind of like an introduction to this kind of stuff, and really the print function, since that was the main goal, but really print and strings and conversions, and more on ints and actually mathematical, actual mathematical operations, because like stuff like the plus sign is a little bit has quite a few uses. Same thing with the minus sign. So anyways, that's going to conclude this video. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support and the subscriptions. And until next time.
All right, all right. Hopefully you all got something from that video. I really enjoy that one. Is pretty simple, pretty straightforward stuff. But again, that's foundational stuff that we really, really have got to know. So that's what's up. And so basically, this is going to be real quick. So I can make sure you all have plenty of time to do some work and progress on your code. So by the time we come back from our break, I believe, we'll be all ready to go. Everyone will be caught up. Everyone will have hundreds. Better than that, everybody will have understanding, and it'll be great, right? So make sure you check for the assignments. For the assignments going to be attached, that's going to derive from that video. And as far as the demonstrations are concerned, um, I'm assuming this part, I don't know for a fact, but I believe that the format is going to be basically the same as last time. It's going to be video and it's going to be written. So it's going to be two portions to the demonstration. I know there will be video. I'm not sure if we're going to do the written again. So just make sure you prepare for both. And so video and the written portion of the demonstration. You can probably go to your Solo Learn. This is what I would suggest, because the parents and the teachers need to know basically everything that you're learning, everything you're doing in this classroom, and then what you'll ultimately be using that knowledge to get. Hopefully you all can hear me because my mic is moving around a little bit, so I'm trying to stabilize it. So you want to walk them through um, a portion, maybe your favorite portion or your favorite module on Solo Learn, the Python course. So you might just want to walk them through your favorite module, read to them the instructions completely, and then work a little bit of the code. And then you want to go to, as you get through a module there, you explain to them what's going on. Keep in mind the people who are listening to you, the ones who you're demonstrating and presenting for, don't know anything about Python. If you pretend like they don't know anything about Python, just make sure you feel like you're explaining it to someone who knows absolutely nothing. And then you remember, okay, let me make sure I don't skip these words. Let me make sure I don't, just run past it or whatever. They need to know these things. So go through the module, explain in great detail, read all the instructions, and then answer the questions in totality. And then you're going to want to exercise what you learned by opening up your idle and maybe writing a few lines of code and seeing what comes out, and And then after you go to the idle, now we're going to want to talk about some Raspberry Pi, right? So this is the Raspberry Pi website. You see raspberrypi.org, and this is the community page. But one thing I like about this page is you can go over here to education and resources, and in resources, they have a little section called you can teach it, you can learn, you can make stuff. See that? Projects to make with Raspberry Pi. So you can click on that, and then they'll give you some ideas in case you can't necessarily think of an idea on your own because it's totally new to you. You can go here and check it out, see a few ideas. If you'll notice, when you go to these forums, these Raspberry Pi forums, you'll see a lot of Yaruhus. But that's one thing that we're going to change. As we learn Python, we master it, we're going to flood the market with pictures of our awesome black and brown faces. So anyway, you go here, raspberrypi.org. You can check out the education tab and then the resources tab, and you want to show them a little bit of that. Just show them kind of what you want to do, or find a YouTube video of somebody doing a Raspberry Pi project and saying, this is what I'm thinking about doing. So I'm learning my code with this in mind. So basically that will be your format for the video. And if there is a written portion, it'll be probably something similar to how it was last time. So I think that's it for today. Take the rest of this time to go ahead and go through your modules. I'm being very repetitive right now because repetition is the mother of all skill. So if I repeat myself, and you repeat your actions, then you will learn. That's how everybody learns. So yeah, I think that's it. It's been a pleasure going through the video with you all today, and I hope everyone's going to do the work and learn it, because like I said before, you can very easily cut and paste these lines of code and whatnot into your idle, into your Python idle, and it can give you the answer or kind of give you a clue as to what's going on. But I'm far more concerned about understanding. So let's try to understand, and then remember to do the assignment, and then remember to think on your demonstration. You can even go ahead and start working on your demonstration video right now. I already have one. Someone already sent me their demonstration video already. I critiqued it. Since that's the point. That's a good thing about sending in your assignments early. The teacher can give you feedback, and then you can redo it and then submit it and then get more points for it. So submit them early, the videos, if you like, and I'll let you know what I think about those, and we'll go from there. So I had fun. Hopefully you all did too, and I look forward to talking to you all live on Monday. And so everyone have a wonderful rest of the day. Make sure to go back to, I guess, the home group and let everybody know what you're thankful for today, and go from there. Talk to you soon. Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Uncle Jasaneb. Hotep. Peace out, black people.